Alright, let's get into it. Who helped hip-hop go global but also faced allegations that almost blew up his legacy? Buckle up.
Hey, it's Emma, and I'm feeling a little contemplative today, like head and heart are both at the table. You know when the music you love comes with complicated receipts? Yeah, that.
So, let's talk. Afrika Bambaataa, born Lance Taylor in the Bronx, is one of the architects of hip-hop and a midwife for electronic vibes and rap. He took breakbeats and wild record grate digging and turned it into a movement. He helped morph street gang energy into the universal Zulu nation, a culture built on peace, unity, love, and having fun. Decades later, allegations emerged that shook everything. Big story, big stakes.
Personal story time. A few summers back, I went to this community hip-hop night. Think local DJs, B-boys and B-girls, some poets. The lineup was a total vibe. 40 minutes before doors, the venue suddenly pulled out. Paperwork drama? Big yikes. For a second, the whole thing looked dead in the water. But the scene rallied, text chains lit up. The organizer called in a favor from a community center director nearby. That's a neighborhood auntie who runs everything. Bless her. And within an hour, we were dragging speakers across a playground and taping down cables with duct tape that absolutely did not want to stick. And when the beat finally hit, kids were dancing, aunties were selling agua fresca, and an old head told us why the snare on the track reminded him of a park jam in the late 70s. It was honestly magic. The hiccup became the heartbeat. That's the lesson Bambaataa preached back in the day. Redirect the chaos into culture. Not me, but me getting misty, because unity is not just a poster, it's a practice, and that night proved it. Okay, let's move on. Quick crash course. Imagine Bambaataa as a master chef, funk, soul, rock, disco, and the sleek German synth band Kraftwerk all simmering together. He layers percussion breaks by running 2 copies of the same record, that's breakbeat DJing, so dancers get an endless groove. Then he grabs a Roland TR-808, the iconic drum machine with deep, oud-filled bass, and boom, you get a new dish on the table, electro-funk. From Bronx block parties in the late 70s, inspired by DJ Kool Herc, the Jamaican-born Bronx DJ who basically birthed breakbeat parties, to downtown clubs in 1981 like the Mud Club and the Roxy, both hotbeds for New York's art kids and fashion weirdos, Bambaataa became a bridge. Fab Five Freddy, a graffiti artist and culture connector, helped open those doors. Suddenly, the uptown sound was wrecking the runway downtown, and by 1982 it was hitting Europe on tour. Hip-hop was leaving the block and getting passports stamped. Important people and pivot points. Bambaataa rolled with the Soul Sonic Force. That's his crew, and in 1982 dropped Planet Rock with producer Arthur Baker and keyboardist John Roby. They wove in Kraftwerk motifs, and the track charted big in dance and R&B. Translation: a Bronx DJ just hacked the future. Also shout to Disco King Mario, a Bronx DJ on tour who lent Bambaataa gear, because no gear, no party.
But it wasn't just music. After time in the Black Spades, a major Bronx street gang back then, Bambaataa started the Universal Zulu Nation in 1977. He brought in DJs, MCs, B-boys, B-girls, and graffiti writers as a social family. The pitch was simple but radical: peace over beef, style over violence. That blueprint traveled, and suddenly hip-hop wasn't a fad, it was a community model. Honestly, iconic.
Crossovers. In 1984, Time Zone, Bambaataa's project, teamed with John Lydon, the former Sex Pistols frontman, on World Destruction, punk plus hip-hop. Then he linked with James Brown, the godfather of soul, on Unity. Later, electronic titans like Left Field and even Paul Oakenfold worked with him. If there was a wall between scenes, he spray-painted a doorway. Here's a wild footnote that lived rent-free in the scene. For years, people thought his real name was Kevin Donovan because of a credit misprint on early records, but locals later confirmed his government name is Lance Taylor. Even legends have messy liner notes. Epic fail. Okay, pause, because this next part is everything and it's heavy. In 2016, Bronx activist Ronald Savage, a longtime community figure, publicly accused Bambaataa of sexually abusing him when he was a minor in the 1980s. More men came forward with allegations. Bambaataa denied the claims in statements to outlets like Rolling Stone. No criminal charges were filed. The Universal Zulu Nation then restructured, disassociated from him, and issued an open letter apologizing to alleged victims for their initial response. Investigative reporting by Vice that year amplified accounts and community whispers. My stance is this: we can acknowledge the culture-shifting contributions and still insist on accountability. Those are not mutually exclusive. We can love Planet Rock and also center survivors, demand transparency, and refuse the hero worship that lets harm hide behind a platinum plaque. If you built a house that sheltered the culture, you don't get a free pass if people say you hurt the people inside it. Period.
Let's dissect the legacy for a sec. Planet Rock is still a total vibe. It's the 808 heartbeat that practically scored modern rap, pop, and house. No 808 fetish on your favorite trap track without that lineage. Rage Against the Machine, the political rap rock band, covered Renegades of Funk in 2000. Left Field's Africa Shocks in 1999 brought him into the UK big room rave era, and that early nod to computer sampling, like EBNOZN's AEIOU, which he debuted at the Roxy, helped normalize the idea that the studio is an instrument.
The social stakes. Hip-hop didn't just go from park jams to playlists. It went from survival to structure. When Bambaataa flipped Black Spade's energy into Zulu Nation chapters, the message was that culture can be harm reduction. That's a blueprint still used by youth organizations today. It matters. Now for something different. History isn't a museum, it's a group chat. We can hold the art, the impact, and the allegations all at once. That's adult fandom. And if you ask me, the healthiest way to love culture is to keep your eyes open and your standards high. Just saying. Next, we've got a tease. We're diving into another music icon whose influence is equally controversial. Think genius producer, rapper, fashion disruptor, award show interrupter. Yes, Kanye West, the Chicago artist who changed sound and spectacle. We need to talk about legacy and accountability there too.
All right, that's the tea, folks. Keep questioning and keep listening. Later.